Senate and, shall we say, the battle for the principal officer of the Senate, talking about the chairman of the National Assembly and Senate president. Okay, today we're switching over to the House of Representatives to look at arrangements or permutations there. Possibilities. And our guest for this is Donald Ojogo. He's a two-time Information Commissioner in Ondo State and also Ilaje Eseodo Federal Constituency Member-elect. A fine morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Very much for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
The APC, of course, would like, one of its own to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Give me your thoughts on how it might go. You're an APC man yourself, so when I say the APC, that includes you. But shall I? Because how concerned are you that other parties can combine their votes and cause, problems to the APC? It wouldn't be problems for whatever their objective was. How real a concern is that?
Well, hello?
Hello.
Well,
did you?
Yeah, you said it all. Yeah, I got you right. You said it all, but my response is simple. In a democracy, even the winner is not expected to take it all. You can't have everything in a democracy. And in this particular instance, I think this is an unusual situation. The scenario we found ourselves as a country, particularly in respect of the last elections that just took place, is an uncommon one, in the sense that the contest was highly competitive, and we could see some form of skewed activism that was exerted in the process. We could see the PDP coming up, the APC, reducing to as low as 160, 162, PDP having about 205, with the Labour Party springing a very big surprise, garnering about 34 seats in the House of Reps. ABGA has 18. NNPP also has 18, I guess. I think SDP has 2. ADC has 1. So it's a very competitive scenario that we have found out. But that is the beauty of it. In a democracy, there must be a contest of the best, and the best among these best that we have seen must definitely emerge for whatever position that is at stake. So in the course of what we are doing, particularly with respect to the question you just posed to me, well, the APC would not want to, as a party, I'm not speaking as the spokesperson of the APC, but I'm speaking as one of the stakeholders who has got himself involved effectively and efficiently in who becomes the next Speaker of the House of Reps. In any case, we on this side, even though I'm coming to the House of Reps for the first time, we are also not mindful of the challenges or the major challenge that the other parties, led by the main opposition PDP, has posed to APC. But where you have a challenge, there must be some very novel initiatives for you to overcome those challenges. I think that is what the APC members, both those who are returning and those who are newly elected, like some of us, I'm one of them, coming on board for the first time, are doing to ensure that we keep that coveted office still within the realms of the APC. How we do it, I may not be competent to say it in the public, but if you ask further questions, I'll be ready to do justice to the question that you might ask.
Okay. In terms, I think, first of all, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, he's not in the mix. He can't possibly, be a candidate, considering the geopolitical zones and how we divide these things up. He's not going to be a candidate, I would imagine. But what is your commentary on other write-ups that I've read saying that North Central, it would be fair, according to some analysis, for it to go to North Central, considering quite a number of things. First, what they contributed was not, it wasn't minuscule. I think about the third largest bloc vote for APC, and the fact that the North Central has had the shortest stint at office on the House of Reps since 1999. So that whole assumption that if we're going to be fair, if everybody's going to feel a sense of inclusion, it should probably come from North Central. How say you?
Well, I guess you'll not be accused of answering the question that you have already asked. I wanted to, it's a very good question you have asked, but if my sense of history does not fail me, the North Central stints at, specifically at the position of the Speaker of the House of Reps was in the time of Ame Ebute. I think that was in the Second Republic, or the Third Republic, if I can say it. But let me be clear, but I know that the last person must have been Ame Ebute from Benue State, I guess. But you've said it all. You see, it is just a sense, just for the purpose of sense of belonging, and just for the purpose of fulfilling what God says we must do to also satisfy our conscience as a collective and our consciences as individuals and as stakeholders in the polity. Like you rightly said, the North Central has put in a whole lot in this game called politics. Particularly when APC started, the North Central was seen as a zone that was predominantly the enclave of the main opposition PDP. But with time, we've seen the gravitation from the PDP sanctuary that it was in, and the North Central is gradually gravitating towards the APC. And I know that as it is today, but for Plateau states, all the states in the North Central are controlled by the APC. Mm-hmm. It is only the North Central that has not produced a speaker since 1999. Yes, the North Central has produced the Senate president for 12 years when David is the most distinguished senator, our leader, His Excellency David Mark, was president of the Senate for at least, I know, for 8 years. His Excellency, the former governor, a revered leader, a nationalist, and also one of our statesmen in this country from Kwara State, also emerged as the president of the Senate. That cumulatively puts to the advantage of the Northwest a number of 12 years, a total of 12 years rather, that the Northwest occupied the position of the Senate president. So I believe strongly that if at all my party, the leaders of my party, the consensus of my party, which is the NWC and the NEC, is likely to decide the leadership of the National Assembly, I believe that they might not look the way of the North Central for the Senate presidency because they have had it for about 12 years. The only position that has eluded the North Central since 1999 has been the House of Reps. We talk about the Northwest. If you permit me, let me veer into that. The Northwest had a stint of the Speaker of the House of Reps from 1999. We had Salisu Buhari. After his exit from office as Speaker, we had a Gali Nahaba. Gali Nahaba has exited. Masari Bello, the current governor, the outgoing governor of Katsina State, came on board. And after him, we also had Aminu Tambua. And reversing it in that order, Aminu Tambua from Sokoto, Masari from Katsina, Gali Nahaba from Kano, I guess, Salisu Buhari also from Kano. All these states I've mentioned are all from the Northwest. Now you go to the Northeast. The Northeast have Senate President. The outgoing Senate President is from there. We're lucky to have the incoming Vice President from there. Well, that does not preclude anybody from running. But the only seemingly very serious contender for the position of Speaker from the Northeast, incidentally or curiously, is from the state where the Vice President, the incoming Vice President is from. That is Borno State. And that is where my support for a next central candidate, particularly for Ahmed Idris Wase, begins to gain grants and begin to have a steam running in me. So that is just the scenario that we have found ourselves. It is natural for the party to look at these scenarios and do justice in respect of the position of the House of Rep. This North Central, I won't use that word just changed. It has eluded, that position has eluded in North Central. We look at these issues dispassionately and take a decision. And let me add also that in the last 1 or 2 weeks, we've been canvassing. We've crossed the entire length and breadth of the country as much as we could, going around stakeholders, not restricting our engagements in the Wase project. I mean, let me get it clearer for people to know, because I am working for Wase because one is from the North Central. Secondly, is one man who has demonstrated capacity, consistency, good conscience, and is an adamant welfarist that I have seen in him. So those are some of the propelling reasons that I am working with. And more importantly, I would not have done what I am doing if I did not have the endorsement and the support and approval of my governor, my mentor, political mentor, and the leader of my party in my state, Arakuru Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SANCON.
Okay. One moment. Let me bring in Simon, who has been waiting for a while in Abuja. Good morning to you, sir, and thank you for holding on.
Yeah, good morning, sir. I think I want to subscribe to the idea that Donald Ojogu, I think, has made a very wonderful contribution. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. We can hear you clearly.
I want to welcome you, and I also want to appreciate this program. My idea is that I subscribe to the refer zone, and they should look for somebody who is credible within, who as a ranking House of Rep member, and that ranking House of Rep member who have demonstrated leadership by example should be considered for the position of Speaker, not individual. I'm looking at the zone in totality. So I think the North Central have every right to came for this position. Thank you. That's my little contribution.
Thank you very much, Simon, for calling in. So, Honorable Ojogo, just as he said, he also follows your line of reasoning. And I guess, politics aside, it's just a reasonable thing to do in the light of the statistics, the game statistics, if one can put it like that. North Central is just looking quite good for that office. But there is also the dynamics of there are more votes that are not under the control of the ruling APC than probably ever before. And so there's probably going to be a lot of negotiations, horse trading, and all of that going. So really, it's like we're looking forward to a very, very active and dynamic time in this process to select the next speaker for the 10th National Assembly.
Hello?
Okay. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that last caller.
Yeah, I didn't get the last leg of your story.
That there's something of a challenge. Maybe it's a bandwidth thing Your video goes fuzzy and then comes back into focus. So it might just be a bandwidth thing. But what Simon in Abuja had contributed was that he follows everything and endorses everything that you've said, that justice, equity, common sense, fairness, that he just is with you all the way, that it is North Central itself that you said. Now, tell me a bit, since you said that you are working for Wase, is a very highly competent person, and he comes from North Central. Tell me some further attributes of the man.
Time may not permit me to say much all what I know about the current Deputy Speaker, and by the grace of Almighty God, the incoming Speaker.
We're going to have to go to a break. We clearly need to sort something out. So stay with us, please. We'll be right back to continue this conversation with Honorable Donald Ojogo, two-time Information Commissioner in Ondo State and member of the House of Representatives elect. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speak, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Housing is fundamental to the physical, mental, social well-being and quality of life. In Nigeria, a large proportion of people live in slums and unplanned settlement because of their inability to own a house or rent decent accommodation.
Our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
The National Assembly is a busy place. As the bastion of democracy, it is a place where bills are presented, motions debated, laws made, and the yearnings of the people are laid bare. Come with us as we take you through the workings of the National Assembly. We take you through plenary, probes, all to ensure smooth working of the democratic process.
It's not your regular show. It's an online interactive session where we share my views on the everyday issues that cut across politics, security, health, current affairs, governance, and so much more. I am passionate about our country. I choose to support any conversation geared towards building a better Nigeria. I am Babajide Kolaji Otitoju. Join me every Saturday on TVC News YouTube channel. Nigeria and the world at large on the show Issues with Jide.
Okay, welcome back. We seem to have been able to blow the cobwebs out of the cables or whatever was the reason. Of course, you know that's a joke. And our guest is Honorable Donald Ojogo, two-time Information Commissioner in Ondo State and the Ilaje Eseodo Federal Constituency APC representative elect. So just before we started having issues with the audio, Simon from Abuja had called in, and the gist of his was that he endorsed entirely your analysis, and he felt that indeed that was as should be. Let me this moving forward. I understand you would probably know better. There's a Gaji from Plateau State and an Olawi from Kwara State declared their interest. So I really see a very busy time, for a very busy time for members when they have been sworn in. This will be the first thing that they'll be doing. Sort of getting all your ducks in a row, getting everybody to be on the same page so that we can actually execute the project as best can be.
Yeah, as you rightly put it, yes, Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase from Plateau State, the current Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, is not the only contender for the position of the House of Reps Speaker. Yes, right, like you said, we have two other persons who are also jostling for that. You've mentioned their names. Also, I have trained my mind not to mention names of those who are contending positively or otherwise. So now that you have mentioned their names, I think I can speak to that. It is true, yes, they are running. One of them is from Plateau State, other is from Kwara. They are all from the North Central. I think among the three of them, there is a common goal. The common goal that is driving them is that the North Central must have this position. But as long as their interest in that regard is not distorted, we have no problem with that. But when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. But while moving towards the bridge and our preparedness to cross it is what matters. We'll look at these three persons that are already in the market space. We that are working for WASE, we have a product we can market so easily, so simply, without much of any problem. WASE, we talk about consistency, he has it. The only AC, the then AC, the only person was elected in 2007 into the House of Representatives on the platform of the then Action Congress AC from Plateau State. There was nothing like AC. It wasn't as popular as it later became in the North when was it contested on the platform of that party and won. So when it came to the House of Reps in 2007, it transmuted from there, political platform-wise, to the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN. He was elected on that platform, where he became the deputy minority leader to the current. Wase was already contesting for his third term on the platform of the APC that was already incubating. And by the time the party was finally he became a member of the House of Reps for the third time. In 2019, he also won another re-election that's still on the platform of the APC, and he has also won now in 2023. So if we talk about experience, Wase will rather dispense experience and export experience rather than people looking for experience around him. So he's been there for 5 consecutive times. Experience speaks for him. Party loyalty speaks for him. In 2019, when
I beg your pardon, Honorable,
speaker.
Forgive me for interrupting you, Honorable, I'm so sorry. But there's another viewer has been waiting for quite a while. So I'm going to interrupt you, please, then you can resume. Okay. Mr. Joshua from Irewolede, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for holding on.
Okay. Thank you, Uncle Yori. Good morning to you and good morning to your guest. From yesterday, we talked about the Senate President and today the Speaker. I want to put the two together because it's the same arm of government. I totally align myself with South-South for the presidency of the Senate for political balancing. But the bigger issue, Uncle Yori, is that we need to build a national consensus on how to solve the problem at hand. I think this election is about actually giving the responsibility or the mandate to rescue Nigeria, as it were, because even if the present government has performed, you know that people are not connecting to their performance. So there's anger in the land. So there is something urgently that needs to be done. So I'm happy that the president-elect started it by saying, I am going to raise the stake higher by having a government of national competence. So we need our people to understand the need to build a consensus first. Leadership will work when we have an institutional consensus on solving a problem that has been identified so that everybody will not be engulfed. So I want them to be on the same page while we are balancing politically the regions. They should be on the same page with the president-elect to first identify competence, and then we can do other balancing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua, and once again for holding on all that while. It's important to us, and we know in these times when Naira is not as, what is it, commonplace as it used to be. We're only just recovering. Okay, so back to you, Honorable Donald. I interrupted you as you were, doing some sort of an analysis on the sort of trilogy of Wase and, Gaji and Alawi, and you were, explaining that. Please resume.
Yeah, no problem about that. I think it was a very positive interruption. The last speaker just provided a very valuable and immeasurable nexus for me to continue from where I stopped. And that is the truth. If we are building a national consensus, why are you building national consensus? Strengthen democracy, it is for us to move democracy from where it is to a higher level, to a more valuable level. And that is what we are trying to do. The danger we are facing now, people might not see it as a danger. Out of the 360 lawmakers in the House of Reps, we have an unusual situation at hand. Less than 70, about 66 or 64. My figures will oscillate between 64 and 66 are returning. Old members are returning. What am I trying to say? Over 220, some say 222, some say 220, but it's over 200 because the number of youth in the previous sessions of the National Assembly that we have had, particularly with respect to the House of Reps. I attended a meeting where I saw young boys. I was very happy. I marveled at the level of turnout of those in the youth brackets, the youthful age that is coming on board. we are coming with a very serious zeal to participate in national politics and contribute to national development. In the course of contribution, there is this natural struggle, the scramble for scarce resources. How do we do it? If we do not have an able, efficient, competent, and capable leadership, particularly at the level of the the House of Representatives, then we are putting democracy in danger. And that is where the issue of Wase even comes in. Wase has been minority leader. He has been chairman of several committees, speaker. And here is a man in 2019 when he was about shaking the table against the wish and desire of the leadership of the APC. The leadership came together, said, look, gentlemen, leave this thing for this man, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, let him emerge as speaker. And he was asked to take up the position of deputy speaker. He took it. And from that moment till now, if my sense of history does not fail me, we have not seen much of turbulence in the National Assembly, particularly the House of Reps. That is leadership.
Okay.
That is leadership.
Please. Another caller.
In any
Another
case,
caller wants to join the program. I beg your pardon. Another caller wants to join the program. Good morning to you, Mr. George. Again, apologies for keeping you waiting, but I did want, my guests to find a place to land. Please go ahead, Mr. George.
All right. Thank you, Uncle Eric. Good morning.
Good morning.
Uncle Eric, yesterday I was not able to complete my thoughts on this subject. I'm happy you are bringing it up again. In the first place, Uncle Yori, this subject matter is being debated because the party, the APC, they are still long to speak on where the positions should be zoned to. So because they have not done that, people like us are opportune to be making our own suggestions. It's in that line that I'm also making my suggestions. I was saying yesterday that in the northern governor, they have introduced integrity into this election by insisting that there should be a shift to this. They have the votes, and they know that whichever side they support, the votes will go to that side. But they left that and said, no, let it go to the south. Chonkoyori, from the debate going on so far, those ones are not asking for anything. They are not debating anything. I'm not hearing from people from that area saying, we want this, we want that. That is also to say that we should imbibe that type of integrity that they are bringing into politics. Now, the Senate presidency, as I was saying yesterday, I think that it should go to the southeast. Because if you watch, you see that in this last election, APC has been able to gain more ground in the southeast. I was surprised to see that they could win Ebonyi State. You know, the governor of Ebonyi State, he comes from PDP to APC. I thought if a new election comes, they won't be able to retain the state. But they were able to retain the state. The same thing happened in Cross River, which is in Southside anyway, and they were able to retain that state. For me, equity, fairness, and fair play demands that the Senate presidency should be given to the southeast.
Okay.
Kalu, in the eyes of our law, he's not a criminal. If he was, he can't be the chief whip of the Senate. Even if you say it must not be given to a particular person, how about other senators of the same party from that region?
Okay.
I am thinking that the APC as a party should use these positions to demonstrate that there is a new dawn in our politics.
Okay, so that concludes your thoughts from yesterday, but as you know, today we're focusing on the House of Representatives, and I'm sure you have some thoughts.
Yes, the Speaker, in my view, for House of Representatives should go to the Northwest. The Northwest, we know that the current president, the outgoing president, is from the Northwest. But are we going to leave the Northwest with nothing for 4 years, in spite of all that they have done to ensure that there is probity in governance? It will not be fair. North Central can take Deputy Senate President. And I don't think that is too small for them.
Okay.
It's just my view.
All right. Thank
Just my
you.
view.
Thank you very much. I'm not too sure whether they want me to go on break or whether we can continue with this conversation. Back to you, Honorable, since they're not protesting. The producers are not protesting. Please, let's go ahead. I saw that. Well, your smile was part of the commentary, but since the gentleman did say his preference, we are talking here about North Central. He said, well, everybody has their own opinion, and you heard it.
Yes, we have. Well, I must commend and really appreciate the last callers in their comments. They are very well-informed commentaries, looking at it dispassionately, what should go to. It is true we have a collective point of convergence, and that is Senate presidency coming to the South. Senate presidency coming to the South, we have that collective point of convergence. But when we talk about leadership positions in the National Assembly, it's not only the House of Reps, the Speaker of the House of Reps, that is there. It is not only the Senate presidency that is there. We have the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, the Speaker of the House of Reps, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps. We have the Leader of the Senate. We also have the Leader of the Majority Leader of the House of Reps. That is 6. Then we also have the Whip of the House. We have the Whip of the Senate. These are all principal offices. No region, as it were, will be shortchanged. No region or geopolitical zone will be left out in the power equation. But one thing I must let people know is that, yes, we are not trying to force or bulldoze our way through. We are using every opportunity, every little opportunity we have to appeal to the conscience of the leadership of the party to consider the North Central for the speakership. That position has eluded the North Central for long. And we are strengthened by the fact that there is an available product that is very expensive, that is very valuable, that is very marketable, and that is our propelling force. If we did not have someone competent, someone efficient, someone who is capable, someone who has the capacity to drive world markets, wouldn't have been in this game. But because we have this twin advantage of having somebody who is very competent, who is very versatile, and who has participated at various levels of leadership in bringing about national cohesion and national development, we are encouraged to support him, and added with the fact that his zone where he hails from has not done it before. In any case, the argument that we must bring on board the Southeast in the national leadership equation is a very valuable argument. That same argument goes to Plateau State in North Central. We lost Plateau State, APC lost Plateau State by the whiskers. Plateau State has been under the control of the APC for at least the last 8 years, the last 6 or 7 years. Now, we've lost it. Could that also not be a joke, a roadside joke anyway? But talking seriously, we must consider these issues dispassionately. We need a speaker who will be able to curtail the excesses of a rampaging youthful group that is coming with much activism, and curtail the excesses of an entrenched a group of returning members who are old. We need a balance. We need a balance. And that balancer is... there must be a balance.
All right. Kesandu in Owerri, Imo State. Good morning to you, sir.
Uncle Yori, I greet you, and good morning to the Honorable.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, I feel so saddened that my zone is not really put in the scheme of things to a reasonable Cambridge extent. And Uncle Yori, it may interest you that I also ran for this House of Representatives under the YPP.
Okay.
But you see, in the course of this election, and I've listened to the Honorable there, you and I will agree, or so many Nigerians will agree, that what we saw in the 9th Assembly was not what Nigerians expected. They were yielding to the whims and caprices of the executive, and it actually caused a whole lot of issues in this country. And that is the truth. No matter how stable the Honorable feels that the House of Reps is as of today, but it's never stabled the Nigerians as a people. But the truth is, we want to know what these men are actually offering to the Nigerian people. Because it's not about party, like you said. A whole lot of persons, there are people from my political party who want the House of Reps in some states. That's leadership, call it that, because they want people. Fortunately, they have not spoken for us as Nigerians. Most of us came into this contest or threw our heart into the ring because we want to make effective change legislatively in Nigeria, in quotes, and the human banner, YouTube and Dobo Federal Constituency in particular. That is for me. But this is what we want to see from these people. We want to see somebody who can assure and reassure Nigerians, and not really the party. Because we have seen this party loyalty as something that has never benefited the people. Okay, let's say, aside the court cases that we have, if we continue with the business of governance, it should be about the people, it should not be about the party, because this whole party thing has never augured well with us for the last 4 years. And I can tell you that Nigerians are looking up to people that will parallel the affairs of the National Assembly in such a manner that will be confident and comfortable that we can say no to Mr. President at some point. Because we didn't see it in this current dispensation. We saw a situation where the speaker, the president at some point, Senate president at some point made comment like whatever the president thinks he's going to sign it. So please, this is what we want to show. We want to show that the man is projecting, has the capacity, credibility, and competency to stand for Nigeria. That is all we're asking, and we're not asking for too much. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Kesandu, for calling in from Owerri. Did you have any comments that you wanted to add to that contribution?
Yes, just a commendation, because we can see the patriotism, the fire of altruism, passing through every strata of society in Nigeria. We have seen the last election. The message that was passed by the last election should be a lesson to everybody, whether you are in the PDP, APC, APGA, Labour Party, SDP, ADC, or even if you are an independent candidate, if the concern would have permitted that anyway. But coming to the House of Representatives, when you get to the National Assembly, I am not there yet, but as a journalist of over 25 years, with over 12 years as an editor who has covered politics in this country, I am quick to know, and I don't need anyone to tell me, that once you get to the chambers of the National Assembly, there is no more party segregation. There is no more party delineation. There is no more partisan differences. They are all members of parliament and they are all nationalists in both chambers of the National Assembly. So what we could deduce from this is that there is a driving force. The driving force is that once they get there, they put their parties behind them, think of Nigeria first. What they do there afterwards depends on the leadership there. But I can take two things takeaways from the outgoing session of the the ninth session of the National Assembly. The PIB, now Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, have been indicative for over 20 years. The current National Assembly was able to do justice to it. It's a very historic decision that they took, very historic thing that has been planted for Nigerians. Yes, the benefits may not come in the next, in the next 2-3 years after the passage of that bill and the assent that was given to it by Mr. President. That is one. Then let us also look at our budget cycle. It used to be between May and June, but now the current National Assembly that is going through the instrumentality of skilled and very effective leadership. Of course, when we talk about leadership, you cannot extricate, you cannot, Deputy Speaker, you cannot isolate other principal officers from the leadership I'm talking about. It has returned, if it was there before it went away, assuming it was there before, it has returned to the December-January period, which is very commendable. And where we have that, we could be sure of a greater percentage of budget performance. From what I gathered, I have not seen the evidence at hand, but from what I gathered even before my election, before our election rather, the budget performance is almost 100%. And the propelling reason for that could have been that the budget was passed on time. So that is also a very key thing that could be highlighted as a major achievement that we must commend the outgoing session for. It's also commended, and we cannot do less. We cannot do less.
But I got to bring in Mazi Okoroavo in Arochukwu. Good morning to you, sir. Again.
Good morning.
Thank you for holding on.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess.
Yes.
You see, this issue of speakership, whether Senate President or speakership for House of Reps. As of yesterday, we were just discussing this issue in our board in the dinner of our discussion meeting. Now, this thing is something for somebody who is a Democrat, who is ready to carry everybody along. And that is maybe it's enough for maybe for North Central. Fine. Yes, Senate President for Southeast. Now, the question is this. I think that in Nigeria today, everything now comes down to winner takes all, which is not supposed to be there. It's what you call equity in any place we go. Equity must exist. And when equity exists, everybody becomes comfortable. Not when we go there, everybody that this one, it's not, it doesn't make sense. If the speakership is for North Central, let me go for North Central. If Senate President for North, for South, let me go for the. No, we have to be very careful whatever we are doing so that to balance the equation, irrespective of their political party. Let us forget about political parties. Let us look for people that are men and women that are what? That are ready to carry everybody in whether House of Rep or Senate. No one who come here with Senegal is just as if he has nobody has a full stop for anywhere. If you are the speaker or a Senate President, make sure you carry everybody. That is why you say everybody is glamorous. Because everybody wants to be there. It's your person to be there. So that we direct all these committees. It's because of these committees of different parastatals. That is why you see everybody glamoring. It must be my own. Look, let us forget about selfishness or greed or tribe or anything we are doing in this country. Let us face the reality of that. That is why Nigeria is dangling. Look at the country like that. Ask yourself. All the senators, all the House of Reps, what have they achieved? They have achieved nothing as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Because they are doing nothing. People are dying. Frustration everywhere.
Mazi, I got to interrupt you. Thank you for calling in, sir, so that our guests can have a chance to, come in on your presentation. Please go ahead, Donald.
I think that was a very beautiful challenge. It's true, because it's also not too good in democracy for the winner to take all. But like I said, we had a very fierce battle fighting during the last election. But one fundamental thing that shaped the outcome in various places of the last election is that individuals who merited victories were voted into power, whether at the level of governorship or at the level of the legislation. The examples are everywhere. The benevolence of you have no business than to do otherwise, than to make sure that everybody is carried along.
An outside broadcast. So I want to I'm so sorry. Thank you very much for this. I'm so sorry about this rush, but we have to cut away to a live feed. Once again, we really appreciate your coming on our program this morning. That's our program. Stay with us, please, as we continue the rest of our broadcasts.
Majesty, Eze Sergeant, I will say, the national anthem. While we remain standing, may I invite to take the opening prayer Venerable Dr. Mbete Vika St. Matthew Anglican Church, Mboba.
Let us pray. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, a shelter from the stormy blast, and an eternal hope. Gracious and loving Father, we return our thanks and praise to you for your blessings